Yo guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another video. I'm joined by RM Sports to look at week 3's bets and predictions. RM, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mbone, for having me. It's always a pleasure being on the Let's Talk Sports channel.
Dude, 3 weeks in a row. I'm excited. You have some picks for us. Do you want to quickly talk about last week before we get into, this week?
Yeah, last week was actually a crazy week in the NFL. 15 out of the 16 favorites won. And
Wow.
if the Saints had won on Monday night, it would have been only the third time in NFL history that all the favorites won on the same week.
That is crazy to think about. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But for my picks, I actually went 4-4 on the week. I think at this video, I was 3-3. I posted a couple late picks on my Twitter. So I have 7 picks so far this week. And if I add more, obviously you can find them on @LayTheHouseRM on Twitter.
Again, guys, make sure you do check out his Twitter. He's always posting stuff on there, not just, football, but all different types of sports. So as we look towards week 3, take us away. I think you have the Dolphins with the first pick.
Yeah, and the first pick, it's in the game between the Dolphins and the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football. The Jaguars and Minshew Magic have a ton of hype. They beat the Colts. They almost beat the Titans last week. And most people will not understand why this line is only 3 points. And I think the hype is a little bit too high on the Minshew Magic, although I do love him. But these are two of the bottom 2 pass defenses in the NFL. The Dolphins, they almost beat Buffalo last week, and they hung tough against New England in week 1. And the Jags have really struggled against tight ends this season, and Mike Gesicki's an absolute stud, and he will break out this week. So the Dolphins keep it close, and they may even win the game outright.
Okay. I like it. Again, I think battle of the best beards. Or mustache? I saw something about Ryan Fitzpatrick saying something to Minshew about it, so I'm very excited for Thursday Night Football.
Yep, and then we're going to move on to Sunday here in the game between the Washington football team and the Cleveland Browns. So Washington, they actually have the best run defense in the NFL and the 7th best pass defense, even though the recent results wouldn't really show that. But when you adjust for the matchups, those are numbers you get. They have the best front 7 in the league, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago. And the Browns are just an overconfident team right now. They kind of blew away the Bengals, even though the Bengals scored a late touchdown to make the score look a little closer than it was. But a key trend that I'm on is Washington is playing their 2nd straight road game. They're off a double-digit loss. They have fewer wins than the Browns, and they had fewer than 10 wins last season. And so this trend, surprisingly, is 38-5 against the spread since 2003. So we're going to go Washington +7.
That's a crazy find right there.
Yeah, I have a whole book of thousands of these that I go through every week.
That's amazing.
We're going to go to our third game here. It's the Patriots against the Raiders. Both teams are flying from cross country. Raiders played on Monday Night Football. They upset the Saints for the only upset on the week. Patriots lost to the Seahawks in Seattle in a very close game. Cam looked amazing. What'd you think of Cam Newton?
Oh my gosh, dude. It's like Superman's back, and it makes me kind of sad because at one point there was rumors about the Bears pursuing Cam Newton. Obviously we didn't, and we went with Nick Foles, but like you said, Cam looked absolutely awesome.
And a key thing with Cam Newton is when he's happy, he plays amazing. If you go back to his MVP season, he was feeling great. He was slinging it. He was running. He was confident. He looked really good. And I think this Raiders team, they got gifted a win last night, to be honest. The Saints defense just didn't show up, but they had 129 yards on penalties that were given to the Raiders. And it was insane, including a late pass interference call that could have gone either way.
What'd you think of that call?
I thought it was a little tight. I thought the ball was overthrown a bit, but hey, you know, it's over now.
Yep.
But the Raiders defense is actually worse than the Seahawks defense, and the Raiders are 0-14 against the spread on turf when they're between home games. And I think the Patriots just basically dominate this game and cover the -7 with ease. Although that is coming from a Patriots fan.
This next one, I want to talk to you because you have been hammering the Lions. This is the 3rd week in a row, I believe.
Unfortunately, it is. I've had trends every week that have been going towards the Lions. However, this is probably the best one that I've found. So, here we go again with the Lions. And they're going against the Cardinals, who, we were on last week. They were really good. Everyone's going to be on the Cardinals here. And a lot of people are not want to click the Lions this week, especially after the last 2 weeks. But teams who have lost straight up and against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the season since 2016 are 14-2 against the spread in week 3. And we have about 6 teams in that trend this week. However, the Lions also fit the same trend as the Washington football team is under this week with the 38-5 against the spread trend, off a double-digit loss, fewer wins than their opponent, and fewer than 10 wins last season. And so for those 2 reasons, we're going to go back to the Lions, and we're going to go +6 on them.
And Kenny Galladay is supposed to be back, so that could be a huge boost to that offense.
Yes, that's a huge boost to the offense. Kenny Galladay is a game-changing player, and he's a really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we're going to go over to Monday Night Football now, the marquee match of the week, Chiefs versus Ravens. What do you think of this game, Enbo?
I think this is, again, a game of the year potential. I like this, the Saints-Packers Sunday night, and then Chiefs-Ravens. I mean, as a football fan, it's going to be incredible. What do you think here? So you have Kansas City plus 3.5. I'm looking right now, correct?
Correct, yeah. And I think the line is +3 for most people, but you can get it at +110. So I suggest buying the half point so you avoid the push. But the reason why I'm Kansas City plus 3.5 is I'm always going to take Patrick Mahomes plus points and plus odds. I mean, it's just a guy who I can't bet against. I think the public is actually going to be on Baltimore this one. Kansas City, they played a close game against the Chargers last week, and it was an overtime win. They're flying across the country from LA to Baltimore. However, we did predict, that game being a closer one last week, and I do have a fairly good read when it comes to the Chiefs. Since 2013, the Chiefs are 27-9-2 against the spread when playing away on grass surfaces.
Wow.
And they're playing on grass in Baltimore, so we're going to go Chiefs plus 3.5. And then we got 2 games left on Sunday. We're going to go backtrack a little bit. Since these are totals, these aren't spreads. But the first one is in the Giants and 49ers. Both teams are decimated by injuries. Saquon Barkley, Nick Bosa. And I have a trend that actually fits this, regardless of the injuries. When in the first half of the season, teams that are away underdogs of 3 points or more, and one or both of the teams in the contest are coming off of an under, leads to a trend that is 9, 27, and 2 to the under. So 27 unders out of the 38 games.
Wow.
And I'm going to go under 41, even though that is a very low total, probably the lowest we will see all season. But it's more of a reason to take the under.
And finally, I see Chicago again, huh?
I have to pick, a game of Chicago for Embo, and every week, Bears versus Falcons. The Falcons 0-2, Bears 2-0 somehow. But the Falcons, they have to win, and they have a terrible defense. I don't know if they'll be able to stop Trubisky, even though anybody can stop Trubisky. But they will be in a ton of shootouts this season. I can see the Falcons, having a bunch of games that clear 60 points. I think this game scores at least over 50, and the total is set at 47.5. I don't know who wins this game, but I do see like a 31-28 score. So I think it's going to be high scoring, and we're going to go with the over.
I like it. I want to talk to you really quickly because the Bears have played at the same time as the Vikings the last 2 weeks. And when I saw that Vikings score, I couldn't believe it. Like, what's going on? Is it Kirk Cousins? What's up with that Vikings team?
I am a firm believer that it is Kirk Cousins. Again, for the second week in a row, he got hit for a safety. This time it was a coverage sack in the end zone, which is always a bad look.
Yeah.
And then the very next play, when they get the ball back, after they held the Colts to a field goal, they basically threw another interception 2 plays later. So Kirk Cousins, you can't do that before a half 2 weeks in a row if you want to stay competitive.
Thank you again. Again, guys, make sure you check out his Twitter because he's always putting plays over there. Again, it'll be on the screen right now. RM, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
That's everything I got, guys. Let's keep winning.
Yeah, let's do it. Guys, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you guys do drop a subscription. Make sure you check out his website. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.